Alright, this is the front intake part of the chassis. As you can see, it's pretty messy. It's got a lot of holes and bits and pieces in there. Now what I'm wanting to do is I want to actually add a 120mm fan onto this part, and in order to do that I'm going to need to cut out a lot of stuff, and you end up with a lot of holes, sort of which have been half cut. Now what I want to do is, with this I'm going to add a plate. So what I've done is I've just got a piece of paper and traced out the shape of the pattern that I want to be using, and what I'm going to do is going to cut the whole section of the panel out and rivet this new plate on, and that's where I'm going to mount my 120mm fan and also hopefully my radiator. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the piece of paper that I've used to make this template and tracing it out onto a piece of scrap metal that I've got. This is actually an old aluminium folder case. Now in order to mark the lines you need to use something like a scribe, which is one of these. It's basically a really sharp hard steel point which is designed for marking metal. So all you have to do is just check both ends of where they need to be and then run the line along. It makes a nice deep groove in the aluminium. Now my case is going to need a window cut into it. I've taken a ruler and marked out some lines on the sides of the panel. In order to make the curved corners, what I'm doing is I am taking a CD, just any old CD, preferably an old one, look at that guy, and you just basically use the CD and mark a corner using the radius. Sorry about the music. Now before I do anything else, I just want to make sure that I've got a hole cut in the panel anyway, whether I use a nibbler or a jigsaw or whatever. So what we do is we just mark the point where we want to create a hole with a drill bit with a centre punch, add a hammer, take the drill, cut a hole in it. Simple stuff really. Now the problem that I face with cutting this panel is the fact that I don't have a jigsaw. Now all I've got to do is either use a Dremel, but if I use a Dremel it's slow, wastes discs, and also the heat from the actual cutting can actually deform the panel. I could use a nibbler, but that's just crazy slow, and I don't want my right arm too much bigger than my left. So I'm going to go back to my pile of junk, see what I can find. Oh, this looks like a decent power supply, I guess. It's got a jumper on it, I could use that. Now I need something that spins, that's no good. A hard disk. Right, I got an idea. I've got a blade here, which I reckon will be able to cut through steel, and I need to get rid of that. Once that's out though, I reckon I can take... oh, this might be useful. Now, once I get started putting things together, we'll see what we come up with. I tell you, the Swiss Army jigsaw works really well. Cut through this metal really quickly. You've just got to make sure you've got your blade lined up correctly. Otherwise you could end up kind of screwing your cut. That's what we're left with. Another piece of sharp metal. So what we need to do now is unclamp all of this, and yeah, you guessed it, filing. Lucky I'm quick. So there you have it, all nicely filed and taken care of. Now I'm also going to do the same thing with that piece of scrap aluminium that I had from that old folder for the intake plate for my front of my chassis. Just cut through it with your Swiss Army jigsaw like this, and then once you're done, give it a short filing. So unfortunately that's all I had time for this weekend. The weather kind of packed in a wee bit and it's got a little bit yuck, so I didn't have a chance to actually cut out the front of the chassis in order to mount the plate. But next time I'm going to hopefully take care of that when the weather's nice again. So stay tuned.